Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the PUBG poll list with Zebu Nation. This is our poll list for May 30th, 2018. It's summertime. Time to get outside and read some comics, I guess. That's what people do outside. Who knows? Who knows what people do outside? But anyway, we're going to do a little PUBG poll list, which means I'm going to narrate this PlayerUnknown's Battleground video that I recorded a couple of weeks ago with a couple of my buddies. It is a squad game, so don't worry if you see some other people. But I'm going to narrate this video, and in the meantime, when nothing's going on, I'm going to talk about my poll list for this week. We're going to see how it goes. Now, this is a little place that we like to land. We call this Shagtown. Not a lot of people land here, but there is just barely enough loot for a squad. It's not like great loot or anything like that, but you get sort of the basics with these buildings, and then you can move on and to get into some of the other buildings. But you don't get in a fight right away, usually. So if we're feeling a little bit cautious, a little bit like we want to take a break from things, we'll land here. Now, in terms of comics, I didn't do a poll list last week because I just didn't have many comics on my poll list. In fact, I had no comics on my actual poll list, and I went in the comic book shop and I only picked up like 2 total. So it wasn't a great week for comics for me, so there's no reason to talk about comics when I'm not that excited about them. So yeah, we're going to skip a video if there's no comics to talk about, but this week we got a lot to talk about. So we're going to get into the first comic, which is actually 4 comics, and it is the big DC Hanna-Barbera crossover. It's going to be 4 comics. It's Jabberjaw and Aquaman. If you're not familiar with Hanna-Barbera, these are old school cartoon characters from the 70s and 80s, and they're just sort of comedy cartoons, if that makes sense. I guess in this day and age, you have to say that the cartoons is actually meant to be funny and not like a serious anime or manga or whatever. But anyway, Hanna-Barbera DC crossover, Jabberjaw and Aquaman, Speed Buggy and the Flash. One that I'm really excited about, which is Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey. Hong Kong Phooey was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. I loved Black Lightning too. He was cool. And they're going to set this in the 70s. So it's going to be sort of a 70s, kung fu detective action comic. I think it's going to be pretty cool. But then the big one, the one that I'm most excited about, is actually Dyno-Mutt and the Super Sons, Blue Falcon and the Dyno-Mutt, crossing over with the Super Sons, which is, Batman and Superman's son who team up in their own little book. So it's pretty cool. If you don't know who Blue Falcon and Dyno-Mutt are, they're, again, Hanna-Barbera superhero team where you got like a super serious Blue Falcon who's like, your regular superhero type guy, and then he just has this total nincompoop of a sidekick. It's bionic dog named Dyno-Mutt, and it's kind of an interesting contrast with the Super Sons because you got like super serious Damian Wayne, and then you've got Damian Wayne, and then you've got sort of the more fun-loving Jonathan Kent, and to see those guys matched up with sort of the same personalities is pretty cool. It's pretty funny, I think. Yeah, so that's that. And speaking of Superman, we got the Man of Steel #1. This is Brian Michael Bendis' big debut for DC, although he's done a couple of other things earlier, but this is sort of the big official debut. Man of Steel #1 coming out on the 30th. It's going to be a big issue. I'm not incredibly excited about it, but I am interested. Like I've been enjoying the latest run of Superman. I think it's been a very good run. I think a lot of people have liked the family dynamic where they brought, Lois Lane and Jonathan Kent, and they've made, the book all about that family, and it's been pretty good. Sales have been pretty good. Reception has been pretty good. So I think everybody's just not necessarily hating on Brian Michael Bendis. They just don't want to mess up a good thing. And unfortunately, reading the solicit for this, it sounds like they're going to do something to the family. Like they're going to get rid of his family and have just Superman running around by himself again. And I don't know. I think that's a mistake. So hopefully, I think there's going to be backlash to this book. Sad to say. I think. We got an open door here, so we got some possibilities of some action coming up soon. But yeah, I'm a little worried about Superman. I think there's going to be some backlash to this Bendis run, because I think the regular readers of Superman aren't going to be happy if they sideline Lois and Jonathan Kent for too long. So we shall see how that goes. Now we're gonna be a little cautious here, looking around. We're not gonna do our normal loot madness that we like to do, where we run around, throw caution to the wind. I need a vest there. I didn't have a vest. Grab a little extra ammo for my AK to see what's going on. I think we got time for one more comic before we get into some action. So let's talk about, we're going to continue our DC run here with the Doomsday Clock. Number 5 is coming out finally. They finally moved up the timetable a little bit back to what it should have been. I think every book from now on should be on time, so we'll see if they can stick to that schedule, because it's been really frustrating with this lack of cohesion in terms of this book. It's like, you buy it and then you wait 2 months and then you buy an issue and you wait 3 months and you buy an issue. And I've kind of forgot what's going on, and I've lost all sense of excitement for this comic. It was supposed to be a big, exciting event, tying in with the whole entire universe, where the Watchmen are crossing over. The Watchmen comic book universe is crossing over with the DC universe. At the end of the Watchmen universe, or the comic, it was kind of up in the air whether or not their universe was going to survive, or at least the Earth was going to survive, whether we were going to destroy ourselves or not. And so this book sort of ties into that, and it crosses them over with the DC universe, and it was interesting, but like I said, I've kind of lost steam on this book. So we'll see if it actually plays out. See if it actually can live up to the hype. So I'm going to switch out guns here. I'm going to drop the AK and pick up my my favorite gun, the Thompson. Good old Tommy gun. And meanwhile, we got some stuff happening. We got some boys running around. We got to see if I can't hear any sound. Why can't I hear any sound? I don't know. Maybe because the narration software is on right now. They don't let you hear any sound. But trust me, right now I'm seeing and hearing some boys. They're running around. My cohorts are shooting. This is no good that I can't hear the sound. Anyway, we're gonna look around. They're charging our building here. I'm gonna try to snipe them, but I can't see much of anything, especially not in this closet. I'm not hiding. I'm not trying to hide out in the closet. I'm just trying to get some angles here. Trying to find out where they're coming from. Can't see them. Now there's somebody here takes some shots at me from that building that I was just looking at. So there is one of them still in that building. I'm gonna have to, try to be cautious of that. I need to warn everybody, say stay away from that doorway. Gonna get blasted. There's somebody downstairs shooting up at us as well. So I'm gonna make a little move here and shut the door. And that guy's shooting it out from behind me. So at this point, those guys are probing our defenses, trying to find out what's up. And shut the door here, but I make kind of a dummy move here. I thought that I was between these two windows, but apparently I wasn't, because they put me down pretty quick there. From the third building, the 3-story building across the way, there's another guy in there, so we know where 2 of them are at. So there's probably 2 of them in our basement, and then 1 in each of those buildings. So gotta figure out here in a bucket of syrup. Bite our way out of this one. There's old HT giving me another pickup. He's good for at least 1 pickup a game. Now we're just waiting for them to charge. You'd figure when they put me down that they would charge, but they never did. Some shots and some explosions and stuff downstairs. I think at this point we're down to 3. I think Phone Book died. That might be him lying right there. So we got issues. We're shooting. And it's just sort of mass hysteria at this point. Let's see if we can see somebody in the other building. Catch him. There he is. Got a couple shots on him. Couldn't take him down with the Scar. The Scar's not the most powerful gun, Here's somebody coming up the stairs. Yeah, take that, Thompson. You can't stop the Thompson. Like I said, it's my favorite gun. I get a lot of kills with the Thompson. At least the proportionate of my kills come with the Thompson. Not that I get a lot of kills in general, but when I do, I get it with the Thompson. I know some people don't like it because basically you can't iron sight the Thompson. There's no reason to iron sight it. Just shoot it from the hip and go hog wild. You got 50 rounds. You can just spray and pray with the Thompson. It's good for that. But it also has pretty good stopping power because it's 45 ammunition. I'm going to pick up a new helmet here. 45 and not 9mm. The 9mm in the ump is okay, but it doesn't have the up close stopping power of a 45 round. So now at this point, I think it's one-on-one. There's one guy out there running around. I'm trying to listen for him, but I can't hear him. So we're going to play a little cat and mouse game here. Waiting for him at the top of the stairs. This is, there's lots of different tactics you can use. I fought in these buildings so much, like you get to understand their layout and their makeup. I'm going to open up my door there, give me a little route to get out of here just in case. But it's like you get to know the layout of these buildings, and you can tell just from the footsteps, where their person is in the building. So at this point, I'm trying to find this guy. Gonna loot some stuff. He's being very patient. Here comes the blue, so I'm gonna jump down and see if the blue panics him at all. Looking around, clearing my corners. Check for some ammunition. Still looting as we go. Looking around. I think I hear him. Not up there. Let's see where this guy is at. Oh, okay. Start to hear him. Gonna heal from the blue a little bit here. Here he comes. Nope. He went upstairs. Heard him jump out the back door. So I'm going to climb up and follow him. That's another classic tactic. When they jump out that back door like that, they're trying to come around and flank you. So you go back up there, and you got the high ground again all of a sudden. So now we're going to see who's got the most hit points left from this blue. I'm just going to wait for him. Hear him coming. He's sneaking up the stairs. There he is. Oh, he had not very many hit points left, but I don't have many left right now either. So we got issues. We got situations here. Luckily, he had some heals on him, so we're gonna be able to heal pretty good. But now we got the question. I mean, we got all this loot from killing 4 different guys. I mean, I killed 2, and obviously it's a 4-man squad, so there's, plus my own squad is lying around now. So the question is, like, do I really want to continue? A lot of times when you get in this situation, you just sort of quit because you're like, you want to let the other guys play. You don't want to waste all the time getting to the final circle by yourself because you're less likely to win by yourself, especially when you're not a great player. Like, I'm not a very good player, so it's tough for me to win a final circle by myself. But I do get the new battle rifle here, and that kind of, changes my thinking to say, I want to try out this new battle rifle. It's the SLR self-loading rifle. It's, I believe it's British design. It was used by NATO forces in the 80s. Probably. Yeah, it lasted a long time in NATO service. But anyway, it's a battle rifle, not single shot, but semi-automatic. It's got 7.62 millimeter rounds, so it's got a nice punch to it. But it doesn't go full auto, so it's more of a long-range weapon. So that's why I pair it up with the Thompson, and I'm good to go, because there's very few weapons that I would take up close over the Thompson. I mean, sometimes I do just for variety, but the Tommy gun is pretty much my go-to up-close weapon. So we're going to grab a few more things. Look at all these dead bodies lying on the stairs. Loot boxes. And we're going to try to get out of here. And, yeah, that should be good. We should be able to get back to our comics here. I don't think there's much else going on. There's me managing my inventory. Anytime you see me just punching in the air, that's me managing my inventory. My buttons, I don't know if it's a bad mapping or whatever, but anyway. That's what happens when I manage my inventory. Speaking of inventory and management, let's go to Bloodborne. I don't know how that really works out. But this is a new comic from Titan Books. It says DC Comics there, but that's just a little typo. Titan Books, coming out May 30th. This is issue 4 of 4, so you've probably missed out on the series, but they do print these in paperback, so you can go out and pick up the series, especially if you're a fan of the game. If you played the Bloodborne games and you really enjoyed them, I think you'd really like this comic. It's very true to the spirit of the game. You know, it's all about sort of a nameless hunter who does what you do in the game. You sort of wake up in this terrible world, this terrible city, and you run around, you fight monsters until you die, and then you wake up and you repeat and repeat and repeat. And that's what happens in the comic until he chooses a different path. And he finds a way to possibly break the cycle and get out of all this, just this nightmare realm that he's trapped in. So it's kind of like the game. It's very true to the spirit of the game, and yeah, I really like it. It's really good mix of horror and adventure writing, just like the game is. There's lots of, you know, deep lore, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm not a huge fan of the game. I mean, I've seen the game, played the game, but I'm not like big into it. So I think if you were really big into it, you'd really enjoy it. So we're gonna have a little bit of cross-country adventure here. Gonna crash the Jeep a little bit, but that's okay. These are hardy vehicles. There it goes, right back up on its 4 wheels. It's hard to tip these Jeeps over for good. I mean, you tip a car over like that, the Dacia, you tip that over and you're done. But these Jeeps, you can roll around a little bit and get things moving. Speaking of getting things moving, let's move on to Tales of Science Fiction. John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction, The Vortex, number 8 of 8. Now, this is from Storm King Comics. And if you haven't heard of Storm King Comics, I don't blame you, because it's a brand new publisher. It's actually created by John Carpenter himself and his producing partner. And basically, they're doing development deals. This is like an offshoot of their development company. And they've got a new sci-fi series coming up from the Sci-Fi Channel. It's, I believe it's coming out this Halloween, and it's like Tales of Halloween or something like that. And there's a comic book series to go along with that. So nice, you know, horror stories from John Carpenter, who's the master of science fiction, the master of horror. I'm a John Carpenter fan. I don't know if you are, but he's made some really great, you know, science fiction movies. You think about The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. It's a great movie. Escape from New York. Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, he's had some really good stuff. And a lot of those properties are already sold off, right? You know, a lot of movie companies and TV companies and even comic book companies already have the rights to all that stuff. So these things coming from Storm King, these are going to be all new properties, all new stories. And this Vortex story from the Tales of Science Fiction has been excellent. It's been one of my favorite new comics of the year. And it's just a great science fiction story, especially if you like that sort of amped up action science fiction. You know, I tell people that this Vortex comic is sort of a mixture of John Carpenter's The Thing and James Cameron's Aliens. It's just got that kind of, you know, it's outer space. There's space marines with guns, and there's aliens and stuff. But anyway, I talked about that enough. Let's get on to our next one. Static Press's 2021 Lost Children number 1. The Static Press is an offshoot of Titan Comics, and a lot of people on the Read a Comic podcast that I'm a part of, a lot of people have tuned in to Static Press and are starting to really enjoy a lot of their comics, and I'm glad about that, because I think Static Press is one of the great new publishers coming out, because they're bringing a lot of really good comics from Europe over to the United States and North America. And that's one of the things that I like to do. I like to tell people about European comics that I've found, because it's just a different kind of storytelling, different art, and it gives you a different perspective on the comics medium than, just sort of reading the same old creators that you get here in the U.S. I mean, not that there aren't great creators, there are, but you sort of see the same ones popping up over and over and over again, and sometimes it's hard to find new people that you like and enjoy. And so a place like Static Press and Humanoids and Cinebook and places like that can just introduce you to new comic creators and new comics, and I'm all about that. And 2021 is an interesting book in itself, in its own right. It's basically, the way they market it is a mix of Escape from New York and the X-Men. So it's crazy. The city of Detroit, again, Detroit is in these new media. Detroit has split off from the rest of the United States and has become some sort of feudal kingdom run by some guy with special powers. And it sounds like with 2021, there's a group of young teenagers, kind of like the X-Men, who come up to fight this despot who's in charge of Detroit. Anyway, another new series, number 1, Blackwood from Dark Horse Comics. We're going to have these Fast and Furious now coming up to the end of the video. This is sort of, I don't want to say like evil Harry Potter, but the synopsis of this reminds me of like just sort of dark Harry Potter, where you've got these 4 kids who aren't going to like happy wizard school. They're going to sort of dark, sorcery school. And there's something bad going on. There's some sort of evil force that they discover, and so they've got to like amp up their training. They've got to learn their sorcery skills quick in order to basically save the world from whatever evil force is about to be unleashed. So it sounds like an interesting book. It's got a nice creative team too. Veronica Fish is the artist, and she's a very good artist, so we'll see how that works out. I like to take chances on these kind of books where you see you got a good creative team with an interesting sort of high concept idea, and I don't mind taking a chance on that. I mean, even if you just pick up the first issue, see if you like it or not, you can come back and get the trade, and if you really like it, you can start picking it up week on week. And that's usually my philosophy, is just, why not pick up a number 1 just in case something happens? You never know. It might, especially if you're a collector and you're somebody who likes to think about the value of your collection. You don't see, I mean, you get number 1s quite a bit, but there are certain publishers that don't put out a ton of them, especially new IPs like this, like Dark Horse. Dark Horse, you get a lot of the Mignola-verse and stuff like that, but you don't often get just a brand new series from a new creative team. So who knows? Who knows? If it catches on, it might be worth something. Speaking of Dark Horse, we got the end of a series. This is Harrow County, number 31, the final issue. This has been one of my favorite comics for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's finally coming to an end. The big showdown between Emmy and her sister, fighting for the life of everyone in Harrow County, basically fighting for the mantle of Hester the Witch. Hester is the witch who actually created Harrow County and all the people in it. And Emmy and her sister are basically 2 sides of Hester's soul, and they're basically fighting each other for control of Harrow County. Now, there are all these other deep storylines going on, all the different immortals. They're all dead now. Either Emmy or her sister, I guess Hester. I guess her sister has taken the name Hester. Anyway, one of them to have killed all the other immortals, so it's down to them. This big showdown. We'll see what happens. I'm really glad that this series has been picked up for development. They're going to make it into a TV series, maybe a movie. I think it's something that could be very cinematic, very cool, in the mode of like Stranger Things. But I think in order to get the mood and the feeling of this story, they're going to need a really great cinematographer, somebody who can really just capture, creepiness and dread. Oh, we got some boys here up on the hill there. We're going to take some shots with the new battle rifle. There we go. It sounds nice. It feels nice when you shoot it. It's got a nice report. I don't know how much it kicks. I didn't knock anybody down with those shots. And I've only got a 4x scope, so I can't see him very good. I just hit the side of the wall there. But anyway, they got to run. Here comes the blue. So they're going to run around the edge. This is what we call toilet bowling, because the blue is a big circle. So when you run around the edge of it like these boys are doing, I'm going to take a couple more shots at them. You can sort of maneuver yourself into decent positions and get behind people and stuff like that. But right now I'm inside the circle, so they got to come to me. So I got a pretty decent defensive position here. I just got to not let them sneak up on me. So, okay, they haven't continued to toilet bowl here. So you can hear them running around next door. There's a guy. They're in the other building there. Here they come. They're charging. All right, boys. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Oh, no, where are you at? You're hiding. Here he comes again. He's coming back out. There he is. Oh, he was hurt. He was hurt. Oh, okay. Not great shooting. Boy's coming over. His boy just jumped through a window. Oh, bad time to reload. You got 50 shots. Here we go. Spray and pray. Spray and pray. That's right. The old Thompson submachine gun does it again. That's pretty good. That's 4 kills this game. All with the Thompson. Like I said, I'm an artist with the Thompson. Not really. That was just spray and pray right there. That was pretty bad. So we're going to see what this guy's got in terms of loot. That's pretty good. Oh, we just got blasted. Okay, dummy, don't stand in front of an open door. I didn't think anybody would be over there, but somebody else is toilet bowling around, unfortunately. Because those 2 guys died immediately, so that means that that's all that was left of their squad. But there's only 15 people alive total. But now I'm outside the circle, so now I got to make a run for it. And that's no good, because I'm not great at the long-range game. I'm much better at the close-range game, so this open field running around is not good. They're taking shots at me. Now, I'm pretty good at dodging, but not so good at this kind of stuff. They got the hill up there. They got the high ground. They're peppering me. They're just blasting me. I'm no good at this. So let's heal. We're going to have to race the blue here in a few seconds. Heal up. I got nothing but open field that way. That's probably no good. These guys are still up on the hill. There they go. They're running. They've got big guns now. They were at a crate, so they probably got a good gun. Take a few shots. Shooting back. Yeah, this is not my style. This is not my game, but here comes the blue. Got to run in. Got no chance. Got no choice. And let's go. Let's go. So at this point, I get a crazy idea. I see the buggy, and I'm like, let's just get in the buggy and try to run away. But unfortunately, the buggy is destroyed. It was hit by a bomb, and so, yeah, they took me out. I don't know if it's a combination of the shots and the blue or what, but that's it. I'm dead. Game over. It's a pretty good game. 4 kills. Got to the top 10. That's not bad for running around all by yourself for most of the game. But there we go. PUBG poll list for May 30th, 2018. Till next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.